Hello everyone, folks from Wine News TV. I'm here with Philippe Blanc, director of Chateau Beychevelle, one of the best Bordeaux, well, one of the best wineries in the world, not just Bordeaux. Philippe, good to see you.
Eduardo,
Pleasure.
thank you.
Is this your first time in Puerto Rico?
No, second time here.
Second time?
I came here in 19.
In 2019?
2019,
Okay.
March 2019, and it's a great pleasure. Great pleasure to meet all of you, to meet people who are very dedicated. But we knew Puerto Rico before because we had Puerto Ricans coming to Beychevelle.
Yeah, of course.
And with chef David Chemol, who brought them many, many years ago. So links are strong and we love it.
Yeah, and Beychevelle, of course, is wine royalty, not just from Bordeaux, but from all over the world. It's very well known. The label, we'll get into that in a bit. I always like to start by talking about my guest. Can you tell me a little bit about your career in the wine sector?
Yes, so I'm, you mentioned my role as a director, but I'm a technician. I'm a winemaker, qualified winemaker, and what we call in French agronome, which is agronomist. So that's my background. I studied in Paris and then Montpellier, south of France, viticulture. So the only thing I've done in my working life is making wine, growing grapes and making wine. Never anything else. And now it will be too late to change that.
How long have you been with Beychevelle?
Soon 28 years.
28 years, my God.
So in September, 28 years, and in September, 29th vintage. So started with 95 and never stopped.
Amazing.
So that's a long series, and we'll try to make 30.
You'll make it. You're in
24.
What an honor, Philippe. Okay, let me now go into the winery per se. These are very well-known labels, beautiful, and we'll get into the little sort of sail that you have on the label. But can you explain perhaps, and I know it's hard, under 2 minutes or 3 minutes, Chateau Beychevelle, the story of the chateau?
Maybe I will disrupt your proposal, saying, okay, we've got 2 chateaux.
Okay.
So I will come to what you asked, but I will say in 1 minute mention about Chateau Beaumont,
which is the first one we're going to taste.
That's the
so
first
it's great.
One
Let's start with Beaumont. We'll taste the wine and then we'll jump into Beychevelle.
Focus on Beychevelle. So that's 2 different estates, 4 kilometers apart. That's south of Saint-Julien, between Margaux and Saint-Julien. That's a large estate, over 100 hectares under vines. And it's in the classification, it's what we call cru bourgeois, whereas Beychevelle is what we call a classified growth. So if you accept hierarchy, that's the top of the iceberg, and that's a little bit down. That's cru bourgeois family, which is several hundred properties in Médoc mainly. And this one is ranked Cru Bourgeois Superior. You've got Exceptional, Superior, and Cru Bourgeois. And so Beaumont is a very consistent, very reliable type of wine and very affordable wine.
Okay.
Why do we show that? First, because we think we provide a very good wine. Second is very often we hear that Bordeaux is crazy in terms of pricing on that. And that's a counterexample to so that Bordeaux is not crazy about pricing. You've got some properties where are having big prices. That's maybe we'll talk about that later on. But you've got many chateaux, and Beaumont is a good example of it, with excellent value for money.
How long has Chateau Beaumont been made, or how long has it been in the market for?
It's hundreds of years, 19th century, and it belongs to Beychevelle owners since 1988.
Who are the owners of Beychevelle?
So we've got 2 owners, 2 wine and spirit family businesses. One is Japanese, called Suntory. Suntory is known maybe for their whiskey.
Of course.
Ibiki, Yamazaki whiskey. They've got a great Saint-Julien wine called Chateau Lagrange, 40 years from now. You know.
Yep.
And in America, for example, they've got Jim Beam, Bourbon, Courvoisier Cognac in France. So it's a large corporation, family business. They've got something which is French, all French know, is called Orangina. You know Orangina? So that's
I
Suntory.
drink a lot of that when I go to Europe.
Okay.
Sometimes I mix it with liquor.
Yeah, well, it may help. And so they've been with us for over 33 years, 34 years.
The Santori family.
Santori
and the
family.
other owners?
And the other owners in the last 12 years is a Bordeaux business called Castel from Spanish origin.
Oh,
That's they were coming from Spain in the 40s. And Pierre Castel developed a huge success and huge business in wine and as well in beer in Africa. Beer and soft drinks, water, Coca-Cola, and all that. So they are powerful people,
of course,
but dedicated to wine. Castel has got maybe 1,000 hectares under vines, different regions in France, and is big actor.
Let's get into the Chateau Beaumont on the right.
So, Beaumont, 100 hectares. That means a lot of bottles.
Cheers.
A lot of bottles. Thank you for having us. When the crop is good, it can be over 500,000 bottles of that. So that's large quantity. Exported, 85%. Number one market, UK, Japan,
what
Europe.
A lovely nose, Philippe. Oh my God.
A blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Petit Verdot, 3 varieties.
Yeah, the nose is unquestionably Bordeaux-like, has that lovely
The advantage of this wine,
cassis, black cherry, and has the graphite.
absolutely,
Lovely minty sort of freshness to it.
but with a Cabernet.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a lovely. There's a little bit of leafy notes from this whole cluster, right? You use stems and everything.
What's interesting with this wine, it can be drunk reasonably young, which is the case here with 19. That's approachable. You can enjoy that. Or you can cellar it and keep it for 10 years, no problem. And 19 is a very elegant, very approachable vintage with extremely fine, fresh tannins. And that makes a wine which is easy to pour by the glass in a restaurant, or easy to have as casual wine every night when you're back home, or to keep and to enjoy in good occasions.
13.5 alcohol, very moderate, very approachable. It has a drying finish that once you go for a piece of meat or go for a second glass, is velvety. It's rich without being saturated.
Freshness.
And it's fresh. Yep. It's the minty, leafy note at the end. How much is this wine?
U.S. price should be under $20 retail.
That's impossible.
Yeah. When I show that to people, I say
$24.95. Okay, I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna review this wine separately. This is the best wine under $30 I've had this year. Red or white, incredible value. Oh my God, what a wine! It's that type of wine that on the nose, the palate, the persistent finish, you would think cost $75. This wine destroys some of those California wines that retail for $60, $70. My God, what a wine.
I think what you said interesting. I think that's a very important point, that Bordeaux can offer incredible value for money and has no complex to get compared with. What can you get comparable at that price on the American market?
It's impossible. For $25 or under 30. I mean, even if it's priced at 50, it's still big a heck of a buy because it's made by people who've been in the business for centuries. This is an amazing wine.
Absolutely.
This is an amazing wine.
But you would hope we'll have opportunity to show you a vertical. 18 is fantastic. 22 is the best. We made the best wine in 22 ever.
It's the proportion. It's mostly Cabernet Sauvignon. More than 50.
50 Cabernet, 45 Merlot, 5 Petit Verdot.
My God, what a lovely wine.
A bit over 1 year in barrels, everything in barrels, 30% new oak, and 1/3 1 year, and 1/3 2 years old.
I'm mesmerized because I've had Cru Bourgeois before, and this is the best one I've had so far. It's truly unbelievable. Wow. I'm going to review this separately, and this would be a perfect gift for a friend, for a loved one, because at this price point, this is just unbeatable. The best I've had this year.
I can assure you as well, and I thank you for your comments, but I can assure you 18, which is probably available around here, is a fantastic wine, fantastic vintage, better in a way than this. And 20 is very close, and 22 will be marvelously.
When this happens, that the first wine is so amazing, I'm a little scared what's gonna happen next, because we're starting with this gem of a wine, and now we're gonna get into the other three. Let's now use this moment to sort of segue into Beychevelle.
So we'll jump, we're changing property, and we're coming to Beychevelle Estate with three wines, the three red wines. Beychevelle only makes red wines, no white wine. I'm the only white in Beychevelle. So we've got Médoc, which is, in terms of terroir, in terms of blocks, it touches Beaumont. Just, you go...
Next door.
Next door. It's far smaller. I said 100 hectares here. It's 14 hectares here.
Okay.
But difference, it's made at Beychevelle with Beychevelle team and Beychevelle tool and Beychevelle know-how.
Do you make these wines? You supervise the team.
Yeah.
You have a team. You supervise.
Yeah,
the team.
We're too big to work on my own. I'm not good at working on my own. So we've got a team. I've got 55 permanent workers. I've got, along me, I've got 2 colleagues, qualified winemakers. So we are 3 qualified winemakers at the property. And so we make this one.
Okay, let's get into this wine. How do you pronounce?
Brûlière. Brûlière is the name of the block, and which means a block where they were burning the wood. Burn is brûlé, so it was a place they were burning to make coal or to make things.
Lovely, lovely nose again. There's a toasty note to it as well. And it's got that beautiful black cherry, blackberry. And,
so we are on different vintage with 2020, which is a very good vintage. And we were on a blend, just 2 varieties, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot.
Merlot, yeah.
Yep.
I love the freshness of it, and you do have a little bit of that hint of the oak, but subdued. It's behind, and it provides that little bit of spice. But I'm getting a little bit of olive as well. It's gorgeous.
Black
it's a
olives,
gorgeous black olives for sure. Let's go with the palate. What I love about
that's baby wine.
Yeah, what I love about these wines is that they close so elegantly. I mean, they have this finish, which is velvety. It's rich because it's not a diluted wine. Certain wines are watery, not from Bordeaux, of course, or
not from these
vintages, not from you guys.
Yeah.
But it's fresh, rich, velvety, and has this drying finish that makes it pair so well with food. And and leaves you salivating,
Absolutely.
The tip of the tongue.
That has to be, mouth feeling. You have to get that, and it keeps going.
And the acidity
and
is
you've
gorgeous.
got freshness and elegance of tannins.
Yeah, this is a beautiful wine. You said that it's Cabernet and Merlot. What's the proportion?
Nearly half and half.
Half and half.
Close to.
What is the price for this wine here in Puerto Rico? You have an idea?
They have an idea.
Julia's?
Price range?
Yeah.
$36.95.
Under $40. Wow.
So it's a little bit more expensive, mainly because it's
It's
Beychevelle.
definitely worth $38. What a wine. Lovely, lovely, lovely wine. And this is a wine that could also cellar 10, 15 years.
No problem, yeah. Especially in very good vintages like that. That's. But again, a great tendency of the recent ages is we make wine which are so ripe, so elegant, tannins are so ripe, then they're approachable early.
Yeah, they're approachable early.
Maybe 20 years ago, it would have been impossible to drink 3 years old wine, or 2 years old wine.
I'm leaving a little bit on each of the glasses because I'm going to go back to them.
They will breathe and they will get better.
They'll change, they'll evolve. What I love about these wines is that when they're this good, in 20 minutes it's going to be a different wine.
I agree.
Incredible. Okay, let's go into...
So we jump again and we come to the next appellation and prestigious appellation, which is Saint-Julien. But in terms of terroir, it's close again.
Okay.
It's very close. And here we have what we call our second label, second wine called Amiral.
How many hectares?
So basically, I wouldn't say hectares, but it's roughly 40% of the production. So here we've got, to answer in hectares, 80 hectares.
Okay.
And we take 60% for that, the best blocks, and 40% for that. But here it comes mainly from a single vineyard next to that for 90%. And the blend is roughly 65% Cabernet, 35% Merlot. So it's a very Medoc type of wine, dominated with Cabernet Sauvignon in this nice year of 19. Here again, with a lot of freshness, a lot of elegant tannins. For us, what's most important is elegance of tannins.
Yeah,
having tannins is not difficult, but having raw tannins or astringent tannins is not interesting. We don't want that. You have to extract, you have to get the good terroir, which gives you good quality tannins. And that's what we've got here.
I got
aging
that cigar box.
14 months in barrels. Again, everything in barrels for 14 months with 35% new oak.
Yeah, it's again, I see that there's this commonality, this common thread between all the wines in which in that they are rich, elegant, fresh. Nothing here is cooked or sweet or saturated. Everything is balanced. But you do see a step up in terms of perhaps density and the complexity on the nose. There's more minerality as you move towards the big Chateau Beychevelle. These wines are unbelievable. The price point for this one, $80, $75.
This one depends on the vintage.
Depends.
2019, $61.95. 2020 is $55.95.
Okay, so I'm just doing my math here. You could get this first three wines, depending on the vintage, of course, for around $140. This first three wines. All right. So in terms of making a purchase, you could buy these three or buy, I don't know, a Napa Cab for $140 that is as good as this one. Wow, wow, wow. In terms of quality, and I love when I see moderate alcohols. Nowadays, you have wines, especially from the New World, and I have nothing against those wines. A lot of people love them. But these are wines that want to compete with a milkshake, with a chocolate shake.
Sometimes
right?
they're tiring.
They're tiring.
When you drink one glass, two glasses, then you're tired.
I'm the kind of guy who likes to have the whole bottle. And I can't have two glasses, more than two glasses of those, because they anesthetize. They're like anesthesia to your tongue. These wines are fresh, they're rich, they're approachable now, but they will get better with age. They're food friendly. And it seems to me that they're not seeking to compete with the food, but to be secondary actors.
Oh, well, it's we call that pairing. It has,
Incredible.
It has to be a fantastic marriage between good food and good wine. It's not competition; it's collaboration.
Let's get into a little bit of the story behind the maritime features, the sail. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, Beychevelle first, and we'll come back to it. Has got a boat, and that's what we call the second label. So it's what we call a brand in France. So we wanted to stay in line with the maritime and the boat universe. Amiral means in English admiral.
Admiralty.
And why using that? Because the owner of Beychevelle in the turn of the 17th century was Admiral of France. So he was the highest officer of the Navy of the King. And he was owning Beychevelle and all the surroundings. So to remember that, we call this wine. It started in the 50s and then developed in the 70s as a brand. As before, they were only making one wine.
Is Beychevelle a last name of a person, Beychevelle?
No, not at all. Beychevelle means lower the sail. Beche, lower. Vela, the sail.
Lower the sail.
So you can translate it in Spanish. But Bech, lower. Vel, la vela, the sail. So it's a boat which lowers the sail.
Okay.
Why does it lower?
Is there a meaning? Is there a symbolism to lowering a sail?
Yes, symbolism. From the chateau, where you have to come soon, you see the river. The river is the estuary between Bordeaux,
the Gironde.
La Gironde, estuary to the ocean. We're in the middle of that. 40 kilometers south is Bordeaux. 40 kilometers north is the mouth of the estuary. And the boat passing by were supposed to lower their sail to show respect to the admiral.
Oh my God.
So they were bowing and showing, Mr. Amiral, we pay you respect and we lower the sail. So they were shouting, hey, lower the sail. So it became the name of the chateau, then the name of the village.
I love it. I love it. It's so good to be involved with the wine blogging thing that I've been doing, because I learned so much of wines that I've loved for many years. I have Beychevelle at my cellars from 05, from 06. I haven't gotten any lately because I've run out of space. I'm doing a lot of stuff lately with wine, and I have very little space. But I'll never get tired of this quality of wines. Okay, and let's get into the last one.
So that's what we call Grand Vin, our first wine, first label in this fantastic vintage 2020. One word about aging. 19 is approachable, but we consider probably for Amiral 5-6 years patience before drinking, and then it will last 15-20 years. For example, today, vintage 2010 is outstanding drinking, perfect drinking, and competing with any blind, with any Grand Vin. For Beychevelle, we would probably recommend a bit more patience.
I want to calibrate my nose. I want to do it with you. Let's go to Amiral, not Beychevelle.
Yep.
What do you get here in the nose?
First impression is dark fruit, cherry, graphite,
which comes from the soil, that minerality,
and barrels.
The toasty, spicy note of the barrel.
Yes.
The oaky note.
Yeah.
Okay.
The families of fruit we have in our wines very often is what we call dark cherry.
Okay.
Then, depending on the aging, then you've got the spice family. Spice family comes from the barrels mainly, but it evolves with age. So you can have
the sensation of freshness that comes like menthol.
That's Cabernet. Cabernet is bringing that.
I don't know whether to drink it or wear it as perfume, man.
We've got floral character as well in Amiral. Floral is more type of violet type of flavors.
It's incredible. For $61, this is an incredible bottle of wine. Incredible. All right, the Grand Vin.
Grand Vin. So in this fantastic vintage 2020, in terms of so we change place. We are more.
This is a baby. We're committing a crime here. This is
baby of wine. It's a tasting. It's not a drinking. It's a tasting.
But the nose, there's this tension to it. There's concentration.
We just assess the quality of the.
I told
future.
Of course. This first three wines, and it's like going up a ladder in terms of quality or complexity. Here, I just stuck my nose, and I've had Beychevelle from other years, and what I smell here is this incredible potential. It's tight, very tight right now, compact, but it's a talent in the making. Let's say that you saw Lionel Messi play when he was 12. You could see he was going to be.
We prefer Mbappe than Messi.
Mbappe. Let's say you see Mbappe when he's 13, and you say he's going to be great.
That will be a great.
This is Mbappe at 13.
Yeah, that's exactly like that.
Oh my God!
And that's about assessing young wine, saying, "Oh, there is potential. All the qualities are gathered. Now we'll have to let it develop in the bottles, age, and it will become bigger and bigger."
Jesus Christ, there's a lot to unpack here. Okay, and in terms of
so blend is
the grapes here. What
blend
do you have
is different in Beychevelle, where the proportion of Merlot is higher than in Amiral. So if I make it simple to remember, Beychevelle is 45 Cab, 45 Merlot, 5 Cabernet Franc, 5 Petit Verdot. That's what you have to keep in mind to have a fair idea of our blending. It may change one year or the other, but year after year, it's basically that. On par, Cabernet and Merlot, and the rest, a bit of Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot.
I get the fruit, of course, but it's underneath that luscious minerality, that beautiful, beautiful, minty, fresh fruit, and there's this. Oh my God! From the barrel, new barrel, I assume, right?
So far more new barrel than the others, about 70% new oak.
Yeah.
Aging is longer, 18 months, 20 months.
Yeah, but the barrel is not invasive. The barrel is the barrel is supporting.
We make wine. We don't want infusion of oak.
Everything is in balance.
It has to be integrated.
You have the alcohol, the tannin, the barrel, the fruit. Everything is in perfect synchronicity.
That's what we call harmony.
Wow. And it's 13.5 alcohol?
It's 13.7, I think, for 2020.
God.
But here again, your description are very, very fair.
Makes love to your palate.
It's elegance. It has to be powerful but gentle. powerful but elegant. So you have to get tannins, but they have to be nice tannins, coated, silky, velvety, and integrated. Nothing hitting you.
No, nothing is invasive. It totally coated my palate. The finish is super long, super fresh, and it seems to me again that this is a wine that can definitely stand the test of time. I heard that yesterday you had a tasting with some of the bespoke clients, and you went back to 1950 or something.
55,
55.
61,
So this is a perfect wine for
70.
and they were drinking beautifully, right?
Very good.
So this is the perfect wine for those of you who want to commemorate something. Let's just say that, for example, my son was born in 2013, and I'm buying a lot of wines from that vintage to drink with them when he's of age,
Very
of course. But this is a type of wine that if you buy it, let's say that 2020 was a memorable year for you, you can keep that for 50, 60 years if you have the patience not to drink it, right? If you have the restraint not to drink it.
You just have to get in touch with bespoke and get enough, not to drink them all in a while, and keep some in a corner, safely stored in very good conditions. It's very, very important to have good cellaring conditions, and in a way even more here in Puerto Rico, where temperature can be high. So you have to really make an effort with this type of wines to put them in perfect, pristine condition, or find some partners to keep them for you. But if it's the case, it will last decades. My personal view on that, best age 10, 20 years, 10, 25 years. That's perfection.
What was drinking, you would say yesterday, what was drinking in perfect harmony? The 20-year-old wines?
05, for example, is a fantastic wine to drink today. It's absolutely beautiful. But 00, 2000 is perfect.
Was a great vintage as well. Philippe, two last questions and then we're done. You've achieved the pinnacle of excellence, quality. Obviously, there's great responsibility in as much as you're going to be either criticized or you're going to be reviewed for the better word,
reviewed
all of the time. So, how can you keep excelling, or how can you maintain calmness when you have such enormous pressure to put out the best wines out there for the market? Like, does it weigh on you that the name is so well consolidated in terms of reviews and ratings that it's a great responsibility to put out the best possible wines? Does it weigh on you in terms of pressure that these wines have to be perfect?
I don't see it like that. I understand the words, but I don't see it like that. I think it's an honor. It's a privilege for us to work in that, to make this type of wines, to have the privilege, no pressure of criticism. Our best critics are our customers around the world. And we know they like the wines. We've got aficionados. We've got people who love Beychevelle. Beychevelle is lovable. We are not the only one. There are many very good wines around the place, in Bordeaux and elsewhere, but in Bordeaux. But we want to make it good, and we make a lot of efforts. For example, in 2016, we made the shareholders enabled us to make a new investment, new facility, brand new. We've got pictures in the pamphlets there, and it lifted the quality we achieved. When I arrived, we are making 10% of Amiral, 90% of Beychevelle. Today, we make 40% of that, 60 of that, sometimes 45, 55. To reach the highest quality.
What's the price of the Beychevelle here in Bespoke? 200 and something?
For the 2020, it's 149.95.
149, okay. And yeah, the Admiral obviously at $60 is sort of a gateway or an entry door to get to know the big boy. And it's amazing that you're making 40% out of that. Are you working on anything new, or you'll stay with these three wines? Or are you working?
We are not very original, and we try to do it good every year, and to not spare any efforts. It starts in the vineyard, big work in the vineyard. In the cost of these things, labor is nearly 55-60%. So it's a lot of efforts, small things, one by one step by step. And then after, sometimes you say, why do that? But never consider to save little efforts. Little efforts make a step further. And that's what we want to do, and that's what we all do. And we're competing. It's a safe competition between all of us, but it's high league, and we want to remain. My goal being in Beychevelle was to say I want to make very good wines.
And you
I
have
want
done,
to be part of that.
and you have done that, sir, for the last 30 years, close to 30 years. Last question. Puerto Rico, the consumer. I always like to land or wrap up with my home place, this lovely island that has given me so much in terms of reach, in terms of wine. You've traveled all over the world. You've interacted with customers from different countries, big cities. How would you characterize, what's been your impression of the Puerto Rican wine consumer, wine aficionado?
Well, the people we meet anyway are very knowledgeable. They travel first. They don't stay on the island all the time, so they travel and they visited us in Bordeaux. I like people who are enjoying good life. Wine is not to be stressed. You mentioned stress and all that. Wine is pleasure.
Yeah.
Wine is sharing. Wine is enjoyment. And I think it's extremely important to take it like that, to enjoy life, to enjoy good sharing, good food, good wine, good friends. That's all about that. That's why we make these products, to be appreciated, to be enjoyed, and to be loved. And that's all about that. And I think people in Puerto Rico are doing that very well. And I love, good mood and good art de vivre and good understanding of good things. And that's what I observe here and when you visit us. So
Very
I'm
likely,
so happy.
very likely you'll come back to the island in the future.
If I can, if I'm invited, I'll be happy to come again.
Thank you, Philippe.
Merci, Eduardo. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you as a consumer, not as a journalist, blogger, or whatever, because you have the highest of quality at still affordable prices. I'm not going to name names, but as you know, and the market is behind this. But there are wines from Bordeaux nowadays that are impossible to buy. Bottles are $1,000 a piece. You've kept this beauty for $180 here, this beast of a wine. And then these three wines you can get for less than $130, all three. So as a consumer, merci.
Merci. Just may I add, Beychevelle is a welcoming place. We are happy to welcome. We have accommodation, and we like to have people around the table and spend good time with us or visit. So please do not hesitate to visit us and be delighted to welcome you.
We'll put the link on the YouTube caption and also on social media for you to follow Chateau Beychevelle, and of course get it here exclusively through Bespoke in Puerto Rico. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you.
Salud, mi gente. Gracias por
Salud.
ver esta entrevista. Prueben estos vinos, son espectaculares. Luego voy a dejar una reseña de este y decirte por qué lo tienes que probar. Salud.